My name is Malcolm John. I'm the current chairman of Panmasters Management Committee. May the 5th will be 33 years of existence. We started back in 1985. We have gone through the years providing a variety of events and culture to the community. During my school days in Trinidad, I used to play soccer. I was a good soccer player, but I loved steel band. And I had to, at one point, make a decision which one I was going to go with. And I decided to go with the steel band. And had a steel band in the backyard. So that's how we started. I started my involvement with the steel band in the backyard by the name of Mexico.
My name is Roland Barnes. I'm one of the founding members of Panmasters Steel Orchestra. I migrated to the US in 1967, had formal education at Howard University and GW University. When I came into this country, I didn't have any knowledge of pan. I want to say that straight up for the record. I always had a drive, always had some feeling to get involved. My love for the arts was folk dancing. So when I migrated here, I had a dance company for 8 years. But something was missing. And I made a mistake. I found Leonard Jack. And that's where I was exposed to pan in its formal sense, because while I was home, across the street from where we resided, there was a steel band, a practice. And when your parents say, don't go in that pan yard, you don't go. So although I was in close proximity to the art form, I was, quote unquote, denied the privilege. But the opportunity availed itself when I came to the US. Started first with the Trinidad and Tobago Steel Band in Washington, D.C. And having been associated with members like Malcolm John, Leonard, and a group of other panists, I had that motivation to get involved in doing something and charter literally our own course of action.
Back in the day, steel band was looked upon as what we call, badge and hooliganism, because the guys used to fight. The different band used to engage in fights. So our parents would not permit us, as the younger ones, to go and play in the steel band. Especially the females. Now females have taken over steel band.
The music you are listening to comes from a new kind of musical instrument called a steel drum. This is made out of the bottom end different note. They play many different kinds of music on a steel drum. Mambas, rumbas, sambas. They even play American popular songs and classical music too.
In those days, when steel band come out and to play on the road, they would come out at this spur of a moment, come out on the street and play. I would run in the band and jump along until the police arrived. Then the police would arrive. The police had a vehicle called the Black Mario. And the band will be coming down and we'll be jumping, and the Black Mario would show up and rock, and the police would jump out and we'd all scatter. I came to the US in 1965. As I recall instances where we would go to play in the park. There's a park called Meridian Hill Park, and the instruments were called trash cans. And you would hear people say, "Hey, going with those trash cans, those are trash cans."
Because as was pointed out by Malcolm earlier on, the perception of our instruments back in the 60s, they were trash cans. So we had to first educate and then entertain. So we combined those two approaches, and over the years we have had many challenges like everything else, but the desire to learn, to educate, to teach, to self-motivate, those are some of the attributes that we brought to the forefront. And you know, we have a saying that once a Panmasters, always a Panmasters.
When I got to the USA, I came to go to school, Howard University. There was a steel band that was formed there, and I was able to become part of the TNT Steel Band. And Leonard, well, both Leonard and Roland were part of that also. I became a member of the TNT Steel Band. We played for years, and then after we decided, like, you know, we wanted to go a different direction. And that's how Panmasters was formed, out of the TNT Steel Band. Once we made that decision, we got together. In 1985, formed Panmasters, and here we are today.
For Panmasters, we didn't come on the scene as the first band in the area. There were other steel bands like the Tobago Steel Band of Baltimore, another one Tobago Steel Band of Washington, for example. But we knew that, and we always have a saying, I don't care what kind of papers you have when you come to this country, you have a responsibility to bring your cultural heritage with you. And part of that is not only showcasing the art form span, which, for the record, originated from the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, not Jamaica. I want to make sure we're very clear on that. And we are proud to say that that's our instrument of origin, but we share it. And in order to share it, you have a responsibility to educate people, not in terms of just playing the instrument, but how it came about, how to protect the instrument, let them understand that this didn't just evolve. A lot of serious sacrifices were made by the early pioneers of Pan to afford us the opportunity to appreciate the art form that is Pan right now. One thing I always tell myself, you do not go into an area that you're not proficient in. So what I would request is that when you have an opportunity to engage Leonard Jack, what he tells you would be what we say is gospel.
What's the phrase right before that one?
My name is Leonard Jack Jr. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I left home in 1983 to come up to further my studies. I did my undergraduate at Howard University, went to University of Indianapolis and also to Boston U. Actually, I was recruited to play with the steel band, Trinidad and Tobago Steel Band back in Trinidad. My girlfriend and I were coming up to school, and she met this guy who played with the Trinidad and Tobago Steel Band, and they were just talking, and she said, "Yeah, we're coming up to go to school, and my boyfriend plays the steel drums and stuff." So he was like, "What? Okay, when he comes, tell him to call so and so and so and so." Ironically, where we lived when I came up to go to school was by my girlfriend's brother. And the band that they wanted me to play with was just across the street, about half a block away, and the Trinidad and Tobago Steel Band. And as Roland and Malcolm said before, that's how the Panmasters became out of the Trinidad and Tobago Steel Band. I used to play the steel drums at home in Trinidad with a band called Fontclair, down in the southern part of Trinidad. We were called like the funk band of at that time. I became a member of Panmasters Steel Orchestra too, just as how they did, the same way. And I remember I got a chance to arrange a song one year. The band started in 1985, so this is our 33rd year, 1985. And I think it was 1987 that I got the chance to arrange a song. I was kind of scared first time arranging, but the group liked it, and I was like, cool, I could do this, you know. So I started teaching them some of the songs and stuff, so I became one of the arrangers in the band.
I'm Jeremy Caesar. I am the percussionist for the band, drummer. Also, I'm one of the arrangers for the band. I'd say my role is also a band leader. I'm with, it's like a group of 4 of us who are basically the steel band coordinators of the band. So we organize when rehearsals are going to be, what repertoire we're going to play, whether that be learning new music or preparing for a gig. My parents, Keith Caesar and Elizabeth Caesar, are also founding members of this steel orchestra. And that's how you can imagine. You know, my mom was likely behind the tenor bass when she was pregnant with me and my sister. So it's almost not an experience outside of a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything else when it comes to music. This instrument has taken me all over. Since I've started playing this instrument, I've been to, I'd say, all up and down the East Coast, as far west as Chicago, as far north as Canada, as far south as obviously Trinidad and Tobago, and in terms of going east, I've actually been all the way to Dakar, Senegal, representing this instrument in West Africa. So literally, it'll take you wherever, you know, your imagination ends it.
I always tell people that the beginning of the instrument itself was just one drum. It was called the duduk. It had 2 notes. That's how it started. 2 notes. Do, do. That's why they call it duduk. So you hear do, 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 doom, doom, do, doom, 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 and that was actually the bass. That's the start of the bass, and that was actually the start of the steel pan itself. Eventually, the notes went into 4, into 8s, 16, and then you had, and they realized that the smaller the notes, the higher the pitch. So back in the day, those were called ping pongs. Ping pong, ping pong, ping. Actually, that's because the song was like a ping pong, ping pong, ping, ping pong, pong, right? Like that. But they realized that you need to put rubber and different texture stuff on the sticks, cloth. We used to wrap it with cloth at one time and give it a particular song. So it has developed over that, over time. You see all those nice silver looking chrome and stuff. It wasn't like that before. It was just, we used to have to, I remember they would just paint the pans, and we used to shine the inside of the pans with polish. Black polish to keep the water out. So that is wax, because it's wax, and to keep the water so it doesn't rust as much. Now they chrome the pans and they look so nice. And, yeah. So I always tell people that's my saxophone, don't mess with it. Because that's how we treat it. The cost of those things, $1,200 for one. Some pans cost $3,000. That's how much, yeah. So we take good care of it. Always put them in the cases. They're tuned by hammer, air, and the strobe that you see people tune the pianos and stuff with. And you see the needle do this, they know exactly where to hit the note to bring the pitch up or to bring it down. How they make it, okay, it's an oil drum. They cut, they're becoming sophisticated now where they're actually making the steel to get the wrong part and they weld the top in. Basically what they do is sink the drums, so it becomes concave like this with a hammer. There are some people that started getting a big ball, just dropping it in the middle there. They're still experimenting in how to make just one form fit, where it just boom and it gets to the right height and everything. But because of the type of metal, sometimes it may have too much different types of iron, different types of metal in it. It's not pure steel like they're making now. Back in the day was more, the pans were stronger back in the day. Now they have too much nickel in the actual thing. It's lighter now, more aluminum in it. So they have even done experimentations to see how much actual steel it would take to make a good pan. The instrument is basically how old? Back in late 30s maybe, started late 30s, yeah. So it's the only acoustic instrument invented in the 20th century. We claim, that's our claim to fame. Yes, that's our claim to fame. The only acoustic instrument. You know, you have all those technical stuff, you know, all those high-tech stuff, right? This, yeah. We were into recycling a long time ago, yes.
One of the main goals of this band is to showcase, obviously, the steel pan. And in showcasing the steel pan properly, we have to break the stigma that it is only a Caribbean thing. All we do is play reggae and calypso, and we wear these straw hats and flowered shirts. You know, all of that is not true at all. In terms of what this instrument is capable of and what this band is capable of, I've practiced classical pieces, salsa, you know, Afro-Cuban, jazz, R&B, hip-hop, dancehall, soca, calypso. Whatever is melodic is possible to be played on this instrument. So the versatility of it is not limited to where the instrument comes from, Trinidad and Tobago, but it's more so your imagination. And we have quite the imagination here. So we play, you know, anything from Luther Vandross, Never Too Much, to The Circle of Life, Lion King.
We play zouk, we play jazz, we play classical music, we play everything. And sometimes people get so accustomed, like when I just come up, like Malcolm and them was saying back in the 60s, you know, they want to hear some of the Jamaican Pharaoh songs and stuff. That's all they know, which is true. That's all they heard. And then the next thing you know, you have guys who play music with Earth, Wind and Fire, like Robert Greenwich. You know, you hear the steel band in the back and it's like, oh, I'm hearing some pan in the back there, you know? I was like, yeah, we can play anything. Sometimes we might try to blend the notes to play Eastern type music too, but all that is part of the experimentation of the instrument itself.
Hi, I'm Candace Thomas, and I am currently the steel band coordinator of Panmasters Steel Orchestra. My role is to more or less get the band sounding the way they should for performances. I've been involved with the band for the last 10 years, but I've been involved in steel pan for the last 27 years. I enjoy teaching the culture of steel pan, and soca music is my first love. The fact that different genres of music could be played on it, and it's acoustic and percussive. So as opposed to just a drum where you have one tone, you have all these instruments from bass clef to treble clef, with all this range that can play any genre of music.
We teach them 1 or 2 songs, or maybe just a line. Like I said, I just said it, maybe had a little or happy birthday, something that the ears are familiar with. And they'll be like, oh, we can play that on this too. Yeah. I've had guys ask me to play some rap songs and stuff. I'm like, okay, I mean, the rap notes is just one, da 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 da, you know, but at least you have music behind it. You know, some of the chords and stuff you can actually play.
With the starting and stopping, the cowbell is a technique called drilling the band, where repetition and using the muscle memory is what we basically concentrate on in terms of how we learn music and retain music. So you find a lot of over and over with the same part, fast, slow, close your eyes, look away, the kind of stuff, because you want to internalize what you have learned so it's in your memory for the next time you have practice.
You have to like it, that's the first thing. And anybody can play. I always tell people that. Anybody can play any instrument. If you like it enough, you will want to learn the thing. Just a matter of learning all the rudimentary now, how to roll. That's the first thing we try to teach people. You have to know where the notes are. Eventually be able to play, I'll be looking at you and playing, instead of having to look down at the notes all the time. So if I'm teaching you, I'll write the notes out on the pens. I'll write the C, the C sharp, whatever. So eventually you know where the notes are. So I always like to let them hear the song first, so that I could feel, okay, they like this part, I like this part, and that will give me the inspiration to actually teach them the music. With the arrangement part of the steel band, when I would arrange a song that, of course, I like, and give it to each section of the band, and we'll do it in parts. We'll do the introduction, the verse, the chorus, whatever. If I'm going to start arranging the song, of course, I hope to have at least 2 people in each group. So we have the basses. Those are the larger drums. That gives you the bass, actual bass guitar sound. We have a 6 bass. Let's say you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm giving the basses boom, 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 boom. That's easy, right? It might sound easy now. And then the whole band comes in. But if I have, let's say we play another piece of music where the bass lines are quicker notes, right? Quarter notes. Dum 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 dum. 1/8 notes. You have to be able to move from one end to the next. And we also teach them how to move within the instruments, you know. If the note is over here, don't just flick your hand like that, you know, you turn your body to get the actual note. So you save, it's more efficient. So you don't get too tired too quickly, but playing the bass with some difficult music is hard.
It's a very customizable experience. So we can go as far as to saying we have a group with mainly beginners in it. You know, maybe we want to have this section of the band in terms of maybe like basses, cellos, all that stuff be strengthened in the sound without giving these people parts that may leave them behind because they may be beginners or something like that. You can literally change the way you arrange a piece of music to accommodate the type of band, the type of players that you have, and all of that. For example, Mr. Jack was talking about how the bass line, you know, could be some simple thing. Something simple like that, right? So if I wanted that to, if I wanted to put a beginner on that bass, you know, that'd be a very easy thing. Whereas maybe if I saw that I had a little bit more of an advanced group of kids, group of players or whatever, then I might give that bass player something different, you know, you know, whatever, you know. So it literally is that interchangeable where you can kind of just take the strengths and the weaknesses of the people that you're playing with and all of that and literally directly correlate that to how you teach them, what you teach them, where you put them, what instrument.
You also have what we call a tenor bass consisting of 4 drums. That gives it a little higher tone of the bass aspect of the music. Then next we have the cellos, or what we call the guitars. They actually will play the strum. Next we have maybe the double tenor, double seconds. They will also play some of the strums. Also they will play harmony. They will play the alto. And the higher pans, that's small, the one single pan, they will actually play the melody, so we call that the soprano. And when they all come together, just like an orchestra with violins and oboes and all that stuff, you hear that particular song, it's just that it's coming from the actual steel pans. Back in the day, we used to call them steel drums, but we call them steel pans now. That's our favorite name for it. The sticks, we call them mallets, but we call them pan sticks. But at the end of the pan sticks, we have rubber tips, so that you don't get that harsh sound of metal and wood. You get the sound of the rubber on the metal itself there. So it's a warmer sound.
The drums that's the captain of the engine room, what we like to call all the percussion that gets together to drive the band. I guess sometimes the drummer can make or break a band, but this band is just like you feed off of each other, you know what I mean? It's not like I shine over them or they shine over me. It's literally, it comes together in wonderful matrimony.
Not everyone learns at the same speed or pace, and not everyone has the same learning style. So we have to consider that as well when we do music stuff with students.
You have to have some type of musical, not knowledge per se, but rhythm. That's one thing. Oh yeah, we make you tap your foot. That's the one there. That's the one. And sometimes it takes a little while for them to actually get it. But eventually, you know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and stuff like that. Then we have of course, you have the percussion that will keep you going all the time. You have the cowbell. When I'm teaching somebody to play, start with the cowbell first before we get the entire band involved.
Historically, there are steel band competitions throughout the Caribbean region. It's not just associated with the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, for example. But as I indicated before, when you migrate, you take your cultural heritage, and part of it is the competitive atmosphere. And what we strive to do over the years as we grew with creative arrangers such as Leonard, Roger, and Jeremy, and all the young ones who are coming up, is to not only enjoy what you do, but in order for you to aspire to be better, it's good when you have a little competitiveness going. So with respect to the panorama or the competition you alluded to, we participated in many competitions in Baltimore, and we always had a rumor after a few years. We said probably that's why they stopped, because they could never be successful when they're competing against Panmasters. First, as you look around our panyard, you see the different type of reflections on the various activities that we were engaged in, whether it's the District of Columbia activities or Baltimore, where we were engaged in many successful steel band competitions that we call Panorama, or participating in the DC Caribbean Carnival, or going into the schools, going into the nursing homes, going where people don't expect to see pan. But when you hear it, you say, oh, where did that instrument come from? It's Jamaica. I said, no, it's not Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. But thanks for affording us the opportunity, because we always say, if you can't come to us, we're going to get to you somehow, somewhere. That is Panmasters.
Most of these trophies, in all honesty, came as I was starting and before I started. Now what we do is we tend to get together and we showcase the instrument. If it's not on the grandest stage, which is Panorama, it's like a jamboree. We've maintained that level of competition and quality of music since 1985.
I've been also fortunate enough to play on 2 or 3 occasions in the Panorama competition where I perform as a percussionist. So with somebody who has not been associated with the instrument was able to be an integral part of a competition, and that to me, without, as we say, ringing the bell, it's one of those areas of gratification that I do have with respect to the art form. One of the programs that we were successfully engaged in over the years was the Blue Month Concert Series, out in different parts of Virginia. And it afforded us an opportunity to not only carry the steel band, but we had folk singers, we had folk dancers. It was a true cultural program. But it's important that I bring this to the forefront because life has its challenges. One year, the band is set up and we're waiting for one of our key players. He was late. But he had a track record we didn't know about. And he came, set up his band and played with us, and when he was finished, he says, "Oh, I have to go back to Virginia tomorrow." We said, "For what?" "Oh, well, that's why I was late. The police stopped me." Mr. Jack had a track record. He had one of those vehicles, when he got on the road, he thought the road was his. He did go to court the following day, and to his gratification, if I am permitted to use that word, the judge was at the festival. So the judge was able to say to him, "Please, young man, watch your speed." But just for the record, I did enjoy Panmasters' performance.
A pet peeve about Leonard. Oh, he's a pretty cool guy. He always instigates the vibe, if you know what I mean. And that can be a pet peeve. I love that.
Leonard has given me the name President for Life. You know, I try to get out, give it up, you know, but I'm tough with it. And I love it. You know, it's a lot of work sometimes, and there's a lot of frustration, but we always seem to overcome that and end up like a happy family. But he's very forgetful. So I usually have to stay on him. Like even coming here this evening, when I spoke to him, I said, "Leonard, don't forget now." You know, he said, "No, I'm putting it on my calendar."
Marlo is the president for life. That's what I said, and everybody believed it, even him.
Our president, with his magnificent voice, he is our, how should I say, our voice. He really advocates for the best interest of the band at every level possible, whether it's performances or where we play, you know, players' performance, getting something to eat, drink. If you go on a performance, they make sure we get there safely, you know, and they make sure that when we perform, then the people who contact us or contract us, we're comfortable with what they offer and all that good stuff. So he's really an advocate, you know, from day one.
What I would like to say about Malcolm is this. As we say, and sort of reference it to a good football game, I don't care what kind of backs you got or what kind of receivers you got. If you don't have the right quarterback, your team ain't going anywhere. So for the record, as Malcolm alluded to, he says some people refer to him as president for life. He's our quarterback for life. That's Malcolm.
Roland is my father. Everybody says that because he's the general. Yes. When he said that I threw him out of the band, it's true and it's not true. I think the last time he decided, he used to play bass, but what we say back in Trinidad, his head was kind of hard. So it used to take a long while to learn the music. But one thing I could tell you, once he get it, he would never forget it. Yeah, he makes sure everything is in place, yeah. Yes, and his favorite word is hold. Hold. Yeah. That's when things are going wrong. Hold. Let's get this right, and then he will set everything in.
Roland, oh yeah, that's my impromptu congas guy. He would come in and do whatever, whenever, whatever is needed. He's like our glue. Without Rolo, a lot of stuff wouldn't happen. That's our heartbeat right there. In terms of the overall operation.
My favorite person. You got a band under control, and I love that. I love that. She and I on the same page.
I'm a sort of a disciplinarian, but I love to have fun. But time for business, I like to take care of business.
Discipline. I like to be the back.
And this is why we get along, because he understands that I'm the same way too.
Yeah.
You know, they had to kind of like convince me to come do this. I've been here since what time? And since he saw me, he's been saying, come back here and do your stuff.
Yeah.
But I like to take the back seat kind of thing and let the players shine, because it's their music. So, you know, let them, their hard work show when it's time. You know. My job is easy. They work hard.
So the organization has grown. We have, I can't tell you how many people who have passed through this band. Over 200 members have passed through this band since 1985 and going on to bigger and better things, performing solos, forming their own band and stuff too. I also have my own band called Fusion, the jazz group that I have there, and some of the members in Panmasters play with me also too. So it's a one love thing, as Roland was saying, when your parents will come and drop you off here for 3 hours and know that you're in good hands, yeah, in good hands. And right now we want to transfer that energy and everything to the younger members, so they will see some of the things, the trials and tribulations we had to go through to get this band to this point.
First point I want to reinforce in terms of the family atmosphere. When parents can come in here at night and leave their young people with us and say, I'll be back in 3 hours or 4 hours, that tells me as an adult that they view us as responsible individuals who would take care of their young people.
Well, our motto is one love. And that's what we try to communicate among ourselves, with each other, and people who visit us. You would see it like a Friday night, people would come in, you'd have food. If it's not a special event, you'll have food, but you won't have to pay for the food. You can, you know, just take part. And we also, as elders in the band, provide counseling to the younger ones as they need it. So it's really like a love thing. You will see the players coming, they would hug us. Actually, they call me Uncle Malcolm and Uncle Roland and what have you. But it's a love thing that exists.
Membership, we have a range of people who have been here from foundation to just more or less last year. So membership is something that we encourage anyone to come in from the street and just jam with us. Our motto is one love. Any race, creed, color, size, image could come in here and have fun behind one of the instruments. And usually that's what happens when people come in, they want to stay and they hang around and stuff like that. My pan class now, the students were so excited that they come to Friday night practices, and they don't have to. But they chose to because they were interested in, and their goal is to perform with the actual band. You know, they set a goal for themselves when they play with the band on the jamboree, so that's what they're working towards. Anyone willing to play music, I would encourage, because it's therapeutic, and it's a language we all speak. And I think when we can relate on the same level, everything more or less comes together easier, and it's like a gel, you know. Everything is kind of jiggy, you know. The vibe is nice, the music is sweet, you know. We got good food, you know, good people around, and like I said, the music, even the creative process of putting the music together, like that for me is like mind blowing.
You know, sometimes people come up with excuses as to why they haven't started yet or why they don't even come out. Honestly, the first thing I'll tell you is to come out here and just listen to us play. And if you don't like what you're hearing, then it's not for you. But I haven't seen that yet. You know, people come out here, they at least like to listen to it, and then they find out that, oh, there are ways that you can learn how to play. We have plenty of teachers here. We have pan classes that go through and all of that stuff. There are some people in the band who've gone through pan classes. I would just tell them, come out and play, experience this part of our culture, and you're gonna fall in love with it, so be prepared for that. And we'll see you when you come back.
My vision is to see Panmasters continue to grow. Right now we have sort of outgrown this facility. I would like to hope that at some point in the future we'll be able to purchase our own building and expand on what we are doing right now. The emphasis also is on bringing the young people, youths, into the organization, and you know, they could have been doing something else, but they spend their time here, and we want to continue to encourage that and develop and continue this family-like atmosphere that we have here.
I continue to function in the Office of Public Relations, which I've enjoyed since the band's inception, and I'm proud to say that I emulate what our motto is: one love, and I'm a Panmasters for life.